EV training can be a bit of a hassle, huh? Well, here are some tips and tricks to ease you through the process. Let's talk about it. This is just the beginning of our competitive Pokemon content. More is on the way, so subscribe to the channel. So here's how to put effort into training them values. Let's start off with max EVs. If you're coming from the first video in our series, I talked about how EVs stand for effort values. They're not to be confused with individual values, which are IVs. They come with the Pokemon automatically. So with EVs, there's a total that a singular Pokemon can reach, and that will be 510. These can be divided among all stats, but you want to sort of specialize. For instance, a single stat can hold up to 252 EVs. If you're trying to reach a certain amount of points, it is important to remember that at level 50, you require 8 EVs to go up 1 point. At level 100, it only requires 4 EVs to go up a single point in your stat. However, it's important to remember that in the competitive field, Pokemon are leveled up to or lowered down to level 50. It's more important that you put 8 EVs into something if you want to see the difference in your stats by the time you're done EV training. Now, there will be some mistakes made in your first attempts at EV training. There's a way to fix this, don't worry. So when you make a mistake, you have 2 options. You can either grab some berries from trees. These are specific berries that allow you to erase 10 EV per berry. Another option you have is the EV Eraser, which has just been introduced in the Isle of Armor expansion. This is a woman you can find pretty close to the train station, but you will have to surf to get to her. For 10 Armorite, you can erase all the EVs your Pokemon has accrued so far. Her wording might be a little confusing because she says, do you want to erase all the battle experience that your Pokemon has accrued so far? And I was pretty hesitant to say yes because it sounded like she was going to somehow reboot my Pokemon to level 1. But I gave it a try anyway, and it all worked out for the best. And I was able to start fresh. So in terms of items that add EVs without the training, there are vitamins and feathers. Vitamins of each stat, they give exactly 10 EVs. Protein gives physical attack, iron gives physical defense, HP up gives, well, you can guess. Calcium gives special attack, zinc gives special defense, and carbos gives speed. For the feathers, each one gives 1 EV in a certain stat. There is the health feather for, well, I think you can guess which one that is. The muscle feather for physical attack, the resist feather for physical defense, the genius feather for special attack, the clever feather for special defense, and the swift feather for, I'm gonna let you take a guess on that one. There is one more feather called the pretty feather, but don't worry about that. That's a lie. It says it can be sold for a pretty penny, but it's not even worth that much. As for Pokerus, now this is an extremely rare condition to acquire for your Pokemon. Hopefully you have a friend who just has an infected Pokemon somewhere. It stands for Pokemon Virus, and what it does is it doubles the EVs that a Pokemon receives. In battle, though. In battle or Pokejobs. In Pokejobs, there is a section all the way at the bottom of the list. I believe there are about 5 different missions for each stat. You go to one of those missions, and if you have a Pokemon with Pokerus, they will receive double the EVs in that stat. So if you have a lot of Pokemon that you want to EV train and you don't know where to start, and the process of EV training looks daunting from the outside point of view, or just like looking at the idea alone, then leave them in Pokejobs. This is especially helpful if I don't know, you have a job, or if you just don't want to spend all day playing Pokemon, you can leave them in the Pokejobs for, I suggest, a whole day. It won't fully EV train them, even if you have Pokerus, but after the job is over, you can easily just knock out a couple more Pokemon, feed it a couple more vitamins, and you're there. That's all there's to it. So here's where we get into actual EV training. For those who want to show their grit and put their elbow grease into making sure their Pokemon are top notch. First off, we have their hold items. You have access to either power items or the Macho Brace. The Macho Brace gives +2 to all stats when you're training. So it's not ideal when it comes to EV training, but if you want your Pokemon to be completely well-rounded, if you want to go back to the Gen 1 days where you could EV train every single stat, then go for it. By all means, make your Pokemon the most well-rounded Pokemon there is in the world and show them why you do not need to leave any stat out in your training process. However, for those who are seeking specific builds, I would suggest the power items, because power items give you +8 in a specific stat. The power bracer gives you physical attack. The power belt gives you physical defense. The power lens gives you special attack. The power band gives you special defense. And the power anklet gives you speed. You also have the power weight, which gives you HP. In terms of the hotspots, where can you go to find an abundance of the Pokemon you're trying to train against? The example I used last time, I'm going to use it here again, is Stuffle. It gives you +1 in physical attack. Where can you find Stuffles as a common occurrence? I would suggest Route 5. They show up pretty commonly, even if they seem sparse at times. I promise you, if you go somewhere else, even up the hill and then come back down the hill, they'll be there. For HP, I would suggest Route 1 for Squavits, because they're quite abundant in the overworld. But in addition to that, they are one of the most common occurrences when you get the exclamation mark in the grass. What's helpful about this is that if Squavits don't show up, Blip Bugs usually do, and they both give HP EVs. In addition to Caterpies. Caterpies are in there, but Squavits and Blip Bugs have more than double the occurrence of a Caterpie. But like I said, all three give HP, so Route 1 all the way for HP. As for physical defense, I would recommend Route 3, just before the Galar Mine. Roly-Colies have an 100% chance of occurring. They offer +1 in physical defense. As for special attack, this is where it gets tricky. Ghastlies offer +1 in special attack, but their occurrence tends to favor the nighttime, and you can mess with the time in your switch, but if you want to do it the honest way, I would suggest getting Calcium for this portion of your EV training. That's just my suggestion. You can also do Pokejobs, but if you want to wait till the night to train, Ghastlies are your best bet. In terms of special defense, interestingly enough, they're in the same area as Ghastlies. The Pokemon that will offer you special defense EVs is Duskull, and it'll be +1, and you can find it around the Haunted Castle area. They have about 30% chance of showing up, so it's pretty reliable. In terms of speed, this is the easiest thing to come across. It is an Arrokuda or Barraskewda. They can be found in the pond-like area next to Professor... I don't know this lady's name. The old lady professor. Magnolia! I came up with that all on my own. I certainly did not look her up, because she, I promise you, was a prevalent character in this game's story. So like I said, guys, we have more competitive Pokemon content coming in the future. Our next topic will cover hold items. And hey, leave a comment about the Pokemon you're EV training. So, like the video, tell your friends about us, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.